Hello and welcome to a live post here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. It is a marvelous day every day here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. Today, extra marvelous as we get to feature our one, our only, our oh so special rescued fishing cat Sushi on a live post today. So come one, come all, hit that share button, start commenting, start reacting, and let's get this live post out into the social media sphere because surely just as excited as I am for this live post, I can only imagine you are excited to get Sushi on a live and see how she's been enjoying her wild at heart life, of courtesy of your support, of course. Hey, Marcy Sanborn, Hinyata here. Good afternoon from Kendra Ditto to the TWS family. Hinyata exclaiming Sushi, by the way. And Sushi, of course, I'll do a little bit of a habitat tour as well, but obviously kind of keeping Sushi as the main subject for our lives, since she is such an elusive gal. Kendra Ditto, so excited to see Sushi. Good morning from Elisa Wallstrom. Hey, Brie MacArthur. These have been kind of a style of puzzle feeder perhaps you have seen pop up in a variety of spaces here at the sanctuary. A lot of our serval habitats have these kind of little, permanent but impermanent puzzle feeders. We can move them around to not only different locations inside of the free roaming habitat, but also just move them around habitats and shuffle them around. This has been a cool little project that many of our crew days have been taking on, as well as some of our carpenter volunteers. But Sushi is working away at this puzzle feeder. If I could just zoom out for a moment. Sushi, of course, has her huge free-roaming habitat that's specialized for a fishing cat just for her. And Sushi has another puzzle feeder right over there that I'm sure she'll make her way over to. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Come one, come all. Cool to think that we're doing our first official live post from Cattail Creek. We were able to kind of unveil the new name after some deliberation among the staff here at the Wildcat Sanctuary for the new area that Sushi's living. Of course, you helped us build the bobcat habitat that's connected to this space. And of course, we know Shrek and Anastasia are a part of Cattail Creek now. And look at Sushi go, kind of maneuvering her habitat in the best way possible. It's amazing to see how teeny tiny Sushi looks in her new free roaming habitat. And some of you know Sushi's rescue story. You know where she came from, and that in Sushi's former life she could never fathom having a space this big and this much freedom. Sushi came from a breeder dealer in Michigan, along with that would be Amira and Mojave, the caracals, and Thane the serval, and rescued from a breeder dealer. And I think this is kind of just the best example for where those cats came from. Where Sushi came from is Sushi didn't have a name. Sushi did not have a name before her rescue. She was just a number, because that's exactly what she was a commodity and a number that she needed to be profited off of. And Sushi, unfortunately, was one of those cats that was held and used for photo opportunities, so people could have photos to publish on their social media. I think that if any of you have any inclination as to what Sushi is like, you would know that rightfully so, she can be a little hesitant when it comes to people. And so I can only imagine the type of fear, the type of uncertainty a cat like Sushi was feeling when she's forced into one of these human interactions where she's having photos taken of her. I see that little nose working away, Miss Sushi, on your second puzzle feeder, which is just across the way. And this is exactly the type of moments that we love seeing when we place foraging enrichment for our rescues in their habitat. Sushi got part of her meal in her lockout, and then she had the other half of her meal placed in this puzzle feeder that she is probably just about to find here. And there she goes. And then I was able to add some tuna into that first puzzle feeder we saw. So just like I said, that's the behavior we like seeing. Sushi's sniffing around, she's exploring, she's wondering, is there any more here? Is this the jackpot? Well, I'm gonna go make sure and double back that I'm not missing anything over there before I come over here. But as Sushi does some exploring, I can continue to welcome everyone into today's live post. Wouldn't you believe it? It's kind of hard to keep up with Sushi right now. Sushi is the only fishing cat to be rescued here by the Wildcat Sanctuary in the history of our time, and you all, our wonderful supporters, helped us facilitate and make a habitat for our first ever fishing cat. Hence the name. They do a lot of fishing in the wild. It's cool to think that Sushi even has these wonderful little webbed paws that her wild counterparts would use to even dive under the water to get some of their prey, small fish and amphibians and things like that. You're going to see her doing a lot of reaching here on this puzzle feeder. But of course, a fishing cat, we wanted to make sure that Sushi did have an opportunity to kind of quote-unquote fish, if you will, in her wild at heart life. We're about to see a very fierce version of Sushi. She has really got some muscles, believe it or not, and can knock around that puzzle feeder like you wouldn't believe. But of course we want to cater to Sushi and her species-specific needs, and so you might see the edge of one of Sushi's pools, one of two pools that Sushi has in her habitat. I saw Henyatta asking, has Sushi swam yet? Well, not, outright swimming where she's kind of plunged in. She certainly enjoyed kind of dipping in some of her paws when we placed some floating enrichment for her, as well as her just being interested in the water. We know that she had a fun little fountain when she was living in her temporary space up in quarantine, and to see her kind of climbing up it and exploring it. But as far as fishing, as far as diving head over heels like Sushi's wild counterpart might do into the water, we haven't seen that yet. But rest assured, here at the Wildcat Sanctuary, we still want to give Sushi that opportunity for when the day does come. I am really having a hard time keeping up with you. For when that day does come and she does feel like taking a dip, she has the space to do that. And I would love to explain in full what Sushi's habitat is like, but I also want to get a good dose of Sushi too. She's really racing back and forth in between the two spots where her puzzle feeders have been set out for her. Kim K getting excited, saying hi to myself and Sushi. Hey Kim, glad to have you with us. Andrea saying she is a busy girl this morning. That's right. I think Sushi, for the most part, as I've kind of come to know her, she's a cat with a full agenda. I think that obviously we know when humans are around, maybe Sushi displays a little bit more of a subdued behavior, but when people aren't around and when there's some food in the equation, Andrea, I think you're getting a good idea as to how much of a busybody this cat really is, and we love seeing it. She says, yeah, I'm not as shy as you think I am. And I can hardly zoom out to keep up with you, Miss Sushi. I have sweaty fingers, that's how hot it is today. I swiped my comments away too. Yeah, look at you go. Sushi's tail is also going to stay kind of lower down to the ground, kind of unique and similar to the ALCs and the F1 Bengals, who aren't going to have their tail upright. Normally, it's just going to kind of lay down flat like that. Interesting to see that parallel, Miss Sushi, and especially knowing that, if I'm not mistaken, you come from a similar part in Southern Asia, where the Asian leopard cats come from. But I can maybe defer to my in-house wildlife biologist Olivia for that one. But maybe I will take an opportunity to do a little kind of habitat tour while Sushi has kind of disappeared way over under a platform there. And also mention that, hey, it may look a little grassy, but this is all new grass that's just come in. So not only are we kind of waiting for it to get to a certain length before we cut it, but we're also wanting to make sure that Sushi's staying as comfortable as possible. And we have noticed that some of the mowing kind of outside of her habitat and the weed whipping closer to her habitat has bothered her. So we just want to make sure that she's as comfortable in this space as possible and that we're not kind of stifling that process with Sushi if we were to go ahead and mow down the habitat like this. But it may look a little overgrown, but nothing Sushi can't handle, and it helps with the new growth, and it also helps make sure Sushi can continue to acclimate as successfully as she has been. And speaking of acclimating, Sushi is kind of a little cat living in a big cat world down here in Cattail Creek. Just right across the way, Sushi has Thor Jr., of course, Tigress Nova, and she probably can even see Dash and Indy down the way too. And then right across the way, she has Shrek and Anastasia. Whoa, quite the jump from Sushi. When I put the tuna up on that platform, Sushi, I was like, well, maybe you'll come over here. Cool to see Sushi has a little hidey hole too. Lots of little hidey holes for this girl, as we knew. She was certainly one of our more shy residents when it comes to having people around, and so just making those little hidey holes part way along each one of those skywalks there, just as a little pit stop for her to seek some shelter if she needs to. Oh, excellent, Sushi. She's, I'm taking the skywalks. Wow, Sushi, look at how elegant you look and how confident you are. We are just so proud to see you loving your new space, and so thrilled that our supporters get to see what they're made possible for you ear to ear. I'm also really kind of laughing to myself about how much I need to kind of boogie to keep up with Sushi here. I apologize, everyone, and appreciate your patience, but Sushi is really painting her habitat red here. And Yada calling Sushi an honorary bobcat with that little prance she did on the skywalk there. I could agree with that. And fun to see her taking advantage of her skywalks. Admittedly, I don't believe I have ever seen her climbing on that highest one. Certainly she's navigated some of the lower ones. And she will kind of fish a piece out of that puzzle feeder, and that's kind of the pattern that we've been seeing, is she'll fish a larger piece of her diet out of that puzzle feeder. She likes going into this little cave here that you see her. She's now exited the opposite side. So a little bit of a pattern develops, Sushi. Maybe I will be able to keep up with you. Yeah, Maria Stahl, she really is giving me a run for my money through this free roaming habitat. Kind of disappeared on the other side of her mound here, but maybe I can take this opportunity to give a little habitat tour. So what you're seeing here is kind of a two-tiered pool system. Oh, there we go. We have the lower pool here and the second larger pool up top. What I have labeled as Sushi's shower, which is actually an awesome little fountain that was made by our facilities people. We have our kind of well here. We're able to store the water, and if you follow that PVC up, it actually rains water, and water will cascade from that PVC into the top level of the pool. That being said, we are also wanting to make sure we're not frightening Sushi with anything, and with that water cascading down and it creating a little extra commotion, we've just been still wanting to make sure that Sushi's comfortable in her habitat as we kind of incrementally add these new things. So we've been wanting to keep her pools filled and adding water, but as you can see, the fountain not running just yet, as we want to make sure that this gal is as comfortable as possible as we kind of continue to make little additions and polish off her living space here. Andrea getting excited about her shower, Sushi shower. I like my little alliteration, Andrea. I'm kind of looking for Miss Sushi, and she's kind of disappeared to the other side of her habitat, but perhaps maybe she circled all the way back to the front and is continuing to do some foraging. Otherwise, she's in one of her patented hangout spots, which has been one under this tree, and then she's also loving this tree and this kind of set of tall grass back there. Hope everybody's doing well, by the way, and happy Friday. I'm doing well because I am just so thrilled to be hanging out with Sushi on a live post today, and I hope everyone's feeling the same. Admittedly, it's pretty hot out today, and so it's great to see that a cat like Sushi, along with all of our rescues here, have opportunities not only to seek shade in their outdoor space, like a shade cloth being placed on her roof, but certainly water sources and plenty of shade sources as well to make sure she's staying comfortable. As for the humans here at the Wildcat Sanctuary, we have had a full supply of all types of electrolyte beverages. Here's that pretty girl. Of all types of electrolyte beverages that are helping keep the humans who are caring for the cats nice and cool. And Miss Sushi says, hello. I'm doing a little grooming in peace and quiet here. But obviously too, with all of our free roaming habitats, we have bungalows attached to them. This is actually the biggest, or rather the largest bungalow we have ever had. This is 12 by 12 for Miss Sushi. Some finishing touches yet to be done in here, but I can still just pop it open just to see. The internet is probably getting the best of me, so maybe I do need to stay a little bit closer to the Wild Woodlands building here. Sorry about that, everyone, if the internet got the best of us for a moment. And it looks like Sushi is moved to another little hangout spot. Curious if I can find her or not. Sorry about that drop, everyone. We'll kind of maybe look for Sushi here for a moment longer. But if she is deciding to kind of lay low and do some grooming after all that foraging enrichment, I don't blame her, and we will give her the space to do that. Oh. And I thought that you were licking your chop somewhere, Miss Sushi, but she says, I'm just angling up the next piece of tuna. I just need to go and find it. Oh, Darby Tober, I certainly agree with that. It would be awesome to see Sushi on a Watch Wildcats channel. And just for reference, you can actually see that is the camera system that would be broadcasting the Watch Wildcats channel, excuse me. And of course, it's obviously fixed way up on that telephone pole. We are able to use the GoPros to operate those streams, so maybe we could try to do a little short half-day one with you, Sushi. We'll have to see if that's in the cards or not. And as it's been going with this live post, Sushi is kind of just outpacing me. And I love hearing one of our dedicated volunteers, Constance, in the background. We have a variety of ways to volunteer here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. Certainly, you're familiar with crew days. You're familiar with our garden volunteers, our mowing volunteers. And we also have a fun little volunteer opportunity. It's for those who want to help out with some chores here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. There's all types of chores that need to be done. Constance is a part of our Chores and More team. And as a part of some of the more, pretty cool, she gets to go around and read books to some of our rescues as a form of enrichment. Some of our more social cats that appreciate a human presence, well, Constance is going to hang out with them. And I think she has a handful of Dr. Seuss books in her little book, there, or her bag there, rather. So I see Dash sitting right down, getting the socializing that we all know Dash loves. And then Constance, very much at a safe distance. And always emphatically and enthusiastically reading to Dash. So great to see that kind of unique little flash of TWS volunteer heroicism. It's just awesome what our volunteers do for the cats here on a daily basis. And being able to show that's important and be able to kind of make aware of some opportunities that could be available to people like you if you ever wanted to come and get involved with things here at TWS. There's all types of avenues, and we would love to join the amazing team that already does so much for our rescues. But speaking of doing so much for our rescues, I believe, rather I know, that Sushi would appreciate if I wasn't kind of stalking up and down her habitat looking to see where she's gone to do some grooming. So with that, I think we're going to do a little bit of a sanctuary stroll. I kind of want to just say hi to Mr. Thor Jr. over here, and then I see Nova across the way too. So maybe we'll just say hi to those two kiddos, and maybe, just maybe, I saw Erin out too, if we can maybe see her. But I'll tell you what, we've got a One tired white cat right here. Thor Jr. was having a blast in his pool yesterday, and I am so happy, Thor, that I was able to take tons and tons of photos. Olivia was there taking video, and even got the drone up with you having some fun in your pool. So, love to hear it, Mr. Thor. And another thing, Thor, is you are just out like a light. I'm on these bright days, the phone kind of maybe it kind of senses that it's getting hot, and it will turn down the brightness on the screen. So I really have the hardest time not only seeing your comments but reading them and responding to them. So I apologize for that. But maybe I can get a good angle on Miss Nova here as she gets ready to stalk me. Oh yeah, Maria Stahl, that's right. Olivia even featured a portion of Thor playing in his pool in yesterday's reel on Facebook. Kim K saying, Thor is one of the sweetest tigers. He certainly is a big goof, isn't he? Well, that's fun, Marcy. Oh, and that's what happens when you start reading a comment. Yeah, could you tell that my eyes look to the screen and not at you? Is that how shrewd you tigers are? Is that how expert your predatory sense is? And why we should always respect you as an apex predator and not as a pet? Yeah. And it's good to see some of that winter coat's finally leaving. I'm sure maybe some of you can remember how scraggly, in the nicest way possible, Miss Nova, you were looking compared to Dash, compared to Indy. And you can really see some of that coat making its way out of there. Yes, yes, yes. That cub coat's making its way out. She says, I'm an adult. Hey, pretty girl. And thank you for that stalk, too. Always a good reminder as to how keen of predators you are. And how, though you've been living a life in captivity, Nova, and we'd rather have you living a life in the wild, but just how keen those wild senses are, and how large you are, too. I guess you wanted to give us a reminder of, even though you're not a fully grown tiger, that you still very much are deadly. And we appreciate those lessons, Miss Nova, because we would never take them for granted here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. And I know our supporters wouldn't take it for granted, and we just have to keep on righting the wrongs of all the folks who take for granted that interacting with a big cat like you is a safe and compassionate thing to do. I disagree, Miss Nova. I disagree. Let's see, I can see the comments a little bit better. Yeah, as I'm getting just bowled over with tiger chuffs here from Nova. And of course, I go into the comments, it's nothing but fawning and chuffs right back at you, Miss Nova. Linda Kimball asking, how old is Nova now? Nova is 2, if I'm not mistaken. I might defer to the interns and Olivia watching this live post inside, but I think it would have been 2 in June, if I'm not mistaken, because Prada... help me out. I'll defer to to my little Facebook minions up in the media office to help me with that. I just get so jumbled up with those numbers, Miss Nova, but I think it is 2 years old. Kelly Howe is commenting how supernova chuffs are the best. They certainly are. I mean, I think it's certainly ingrained into my memory, but one of the first times I met Nova was just going to meet her in one of the indoor bedrooms in quarantine. She had her enrichment TV playing. She was sitting on a giant tiger bed just as a small tiger cub. And she was just watching her tiger enrichment TV, and she came up to greet me and probably shared about 100 chuffs with me right off the bat. And there's just plenty of moments like that in our day-to-day life here at the Wildcat Sanctuary that make their way into your core memories, and that's certainly one of them. Now, Constance, I apologize if I'm obstructing your reading date with Nova here.
I see how you are.
She says, you know what? You're right. I've given Judson enough chuffs, and I'd like to give Constance some chuffs for some reading. And we got to see Sushi on this live too, Constance, as well. And it was, it's been tremendous so far. And I also got to explain a little bit of what you were doing and how you are volunteering your time not only to do chores, but some of the more part, and you reading for some of the cats out here.
Yes.
And it was Dr. Seuss, Oh, the Places You'll Go?
Yes.
Okay.
And just now it was, with Dash, I read, I'm ready to go to Salisaloo.
Okay.
Trouble in getting to Salisaloo.
Okay.
That's the name of it. Yep.
Trouble Getting to Salisaloo for Dash and Oh, the Places You'll Go. I think Sophie heard that, and Constance made a good correction, and it's more like the places she's been, thinking about Sophie being born in South Africa, making her way to the Buenos Aires Zoo in Argentina, and now finally living here compassionately at Sanctuary. I thought that was a pretty creative touch, Constance, so nice.
Thank you. Thank you. Read to the audience you've got.
Exactly. And of course, a lot of praise, rightfully so, in the comments for you as well, Constance.
Oh, so sweet. Thank you. This is not a job.
Well,
It's a pleasure.
and we're just so thankful that you were able to come and share your time with the cats like this. All right, Miss Nova, speaking of which, I'm going to let you share your time with Constance. We'll do a quick little turn. Thanks again, Constance.
Yep.
We'll do a quick little right turn. Even I see Erin doing some patrolling. At least I can zoom in on her. But I'd like to do a quick little right turn and maybe see if Leo and Mansa are in an easy spot. And if not, I'd say that we had a pretty solid live post today. Miss Sushi really strutting her stuff in her free roaming habitat. I was I think Sushi outpaced me on that live as to how quickly she was moving around her space, foraging for her food, looking for more food to forage. And Erin's doing a little patrolling. I would go over there, but Erin has got an awesome space and tons of different little lanes that she likes walking down, and so she's probably gonna poof and kind of disappear and start kind of meandering through her habitat that way. So I'm gonna round the corner. I'm gonna see if I can see Leo and Mansa. Otherwise, I'm gonna call that a live post for this Friday. But it is hot this weekend across the majority of the United States. So certainly stay safe and stay cool. We're gonna be making sure that we're taking all the measures to ensure that our cats and people are doing the same here. As I mentioned, lots of electrolyte beverages and water for the humans, and lots of icy enrichment and full pools, things like that for the cats outside. The ice machine has been a wonderful piece of kind of quick cooling enrichment too. It's been cool to see how much use that's been getting this summer so far. Ooh, well, of course, I was hoping for a surefire thing and wanted to walk over and see if Leo or Mansa was up on their platform or maybe under their platform. I'm getting some lion goose eggs here. Just look how pretty those clouds are, though, and Thor Jr. way across the way enjoying a nice shady spot under his platform. Well. Would have liked to have ended it with a cat, but I think we still had a wonderful live post regardless. Getting a little windy here. Hopefully you all can hear me, but I hope you all have a happy Friday. T-minus 30 minutes until our summer auction concludes. I saw some chatter about some desired auction items in the comments, so be sure to keep your eyes close on your desired items, as you only have 30 more minutes to clench one of those Chitty Best keepsakes. Of course, hey, Miss Rainier. Of course, the on-site experience as well. But nonetheless, everyone, thank you for tuning in on today's live host. Thank you for doing what you've done for Sushi, helping build that specialized habitat for her, helping make it a space where Sushi gets to blossom in her new Wild at Heart life. And thanks for tuning in today, where we all got to see Sushi and celebrate what your support has done for her. So with that, have a wonderful rest of your weekend, everyone. And we will see you back here at the Wildcat Sanctuary on Monday.